I never thought I'd be sharing this. Not out loud, not with anyone. Some moments feel safer kept in silence. But this one won't stay tucked away. He stepped in a little closer. I leaned back until the counter caught me. He didn't close the distance further, just lingered near. I hadn't moved. Before the story begins, hit like and subscribe. Now let's get into it. He bent to lift the package, and I almost thanked him out of habit. But instead I said something random, casual, unplanned, not meant to mean anything. He looked up, and for a heartbeat we both hesitated, unsure what to do with that moment. I opened the door and he followed me inside, setting the box down next to the table. The porch creaked under my bare feet as I stepped outside. The evening light stretched across the wooden boards in golden streaks. I hadn't bothered with the porch light. I didn't need it. The warmth from the afternoon still clung to the air. The box sitting by the steps looked ordinary enough. He was already bending down to pick it up. He wore a basic white tee and scuffed-up boots. As he crouched, he gave me that familiar half-smile, the one I'd seen many times before. Just like always, I folded my arms and leaned in the doorway, watching. "Since you're already down there," I said before I could second-guess it, "mind carrying it in for me?" He paused. Then slowly, his eyes lifted to meet mine. One eyebrow raised. Not annoyed or confused, just waiting to see what I'd do next. I didn't offer an explanation. I didn't laugh it off. I just stepped aside and pushed the door open wider. He picked up the box and walked in, brushing my shoulder lightly as he passed. The house didn't feel quite so still after that. I lingered by the door, watching him as he gently lowered the box. He stood there with it in his arms, not moving, like he expected something. I didn't speak. I only nodded toward the living room. He walked in that direction and I followed. The fading sunlight filled the room, painting it gold. He placed the box carefully near the small table, like it mattered. Then he didn't move, just stood there like his thoughts had taken over. I stayed near the frame of the doorway, watching for a moment before heading to the kitchen. "Water," I offered, already grabbing a glass. "Sure," he said. His voice was calm, like he had no plans to leave. I could feel his eyes on me as I crossed the floor. The hem of my sundress shifted just above my knees, catching the soft air as I moved. I wasn't wearing shoes. Too hot for that. I bent forward to open the fridge, and when I turned, he was already at the counter. I handed him the glass, my grip steady. He took a drink and set it down. "Nice place," he said quietly. "Thanks," I replied, leaning against the counter with a light touch. "You in a hurry today?" He slowly shook his head. "Not unless you need me to be." I reached around him for another glass, brushing his arm in the process. Then I turned to the sink. He didn't move away. His hand rested on the counter near mine. We weren't touching, but we were close. I left my hand where it was. So did he. We stood there silently for a while. I looked up at him. "You always hang around this long." He gave a quiet smile. "Only when I'm wanted." My hand didn't move. I leaned in slightly without much thought. "You haven't overstayed yet." His fingers shifted just a little, like adjusting his stance. I became aware of how little space separated us. I hadn't moved back. He turned slightly, his hand now nearly touching mine. Purposeful, slow. I let my pinky rest lightly against his. He didn't flinch. His pinky brushed against mine, a small gesture, but I felt it. I looked at him again. He was still looking my way. We didn't say anything. He lifted his hand and gently took mine. No hesitation, just calm, intentional. He traced his thumb over the back of my hand, then raised it near his face, pausing like he was thinking something over. I hadn't expected that. Caught me off guard, gentle, deliberate. He lingered a second longer, then let go. Every move intentional. His other hand came to rest close to my waist. I didn't back away. I touched his chest lightly over the fabric, then let my hand fall. He stepped a little closer. I leaned back until the counter was at my back again. He stayed where he was, close but not pressing in. I didn't step away. He tilted his head slightly, watching me, waiting. He leaned forward a little, maybe about to speak, but stayed quiet. We both just stood there. I became suddenly aware of everything. The hush, the warmth, the quiet shift between us. "Would you mind closing the curtains?" I asked soft. He moved instantly. As he walked across the room, I reached up to touch the chain around my neck. The pendant slipped beneath my fingers. I slowed my steps, trying to collect myself. The tension between us loosened a little. I turned from the window and walked toward him again, still holding the necklace in my hand, now forgotten. I reached out, fingertips resting gently near his collarbone. Our lips met, not rushed, not unsure, just simple, clear, mutual. His hand settled on my shoulder, firm but not demanding. It steadied us both. We didn't move much. The silence was thick with meaning. His other hand found the small of my back, supportive, not forceful. I touched his shoulder again, softly, and let my hand stay. He remained still, completely present. Our foreheads touched briefly. We didn't speak. He glanced toward the counter, then back at me. Silent question. Gave a tiny nod. That was enough. He stepped closer, helping me up onto the counter's edge. Every motion was careful, understood. I adjusted my balance and met his gaze. My knees framed his sides, close but not quite touching. We didn't move. I lifted my hand to his face, brushing near his temple to draw his eyes back to mine. We kissed again. Lower now. More certain. More knowing. Everything stayed still. The silence carried more weight than anything we could have said. My hand rested on his shoulder. His stayed gently near my waist, not gripping, just there, telling me he wasn't leaving. The room stayed quiet. Everything unspoken was already understood. He leaned back slightly to meet my eyes. I nodded once. He helped me down again, steady hands. I stepped down slowly, staying close. He didn't step away. We moved together back toward the living room, our steps quiet on the wooden floor. I placed my hand gently on his arm, feeling the calm between us. Still no words. Just peace. When we reached the couch, we sat side by side. Our eyes met again, full of the same unspoken understanding. The kiss lingered, gentle, unhurried, like time had paused. My hands rested on his shoulder. He leaned just enough. Not pushing, just present. A quiet warmth settled in me. Not from one moment, but from everything between us. A soft sound left me. Part surprise, part awe, like I was only now realizing how deep it all felt. His hand found mine in an easy, relaxed hold. No tension, just quiet reassurance. The world around us faded. Nothing else mattered. I tilted my head back, closing my eyes, taking it all in. The closeness, the feeling of truly being seen. And for a moment everything stopped. Not because of noise or motion, but because the feeling was finally right. Quick question before you go. What do you think she should have done next? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'll be reading. And if you haven't yet, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you're here for the next one. Thanks for watching.